No, hold on. This is 5 Minutes Funnier. Hi, I'm Jimmy England, and welcome back to 5 Minutes Funnier, the comedy how-to. I'm here in my studio. Well, it used to be my studio, but then we had an unexpected grandchild who drops in periodically, and it's gone back to being my studio/spare bedroom. Ironically, that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Stories about real life that you put on stage. I've kind of touched on it in the past, but there's a lot of pitfalls in talking about things that happen to you in real life. The biggest problem really is that there's an emotional connection that you make with the incident. And when you get on stage, you're trying to recreate the emotional moment that you had and express it to the audience. The audience only wants to know what you have to say that they can laugh at. And if you start rolling into the stuff that happened and who your friend is, you essentially become Grandpa Simpson. And that is not a good idea. Trust me, I have been there, I know. I've spoke about this before. Somebody gets up to talk about an incident that happened with the bride or the groom. They're not trained to make that funny moment come across to the audience. And what you end up is somebody who bores the bejeebers out of you at a wedding. I would go so far as to say 90% of the speeches at wedding are boring. The thing to remember about reality is there's no place for reality in comedy. Do not be held to account by something that happened because you were there and you remember it so explicitly. It's not important. What you want to do is make the story work to get the laugh. That's the part that's the important part. So don't get hung up on a lot of incidental details. The best stories are the ones that you can sum up in 3 lines or less. If you have to run into a dozen lines, if you find yourself explaining things, and by the way, this is huge. You do not want to have to explain a joke to your audience. My wife, God bless her, she helps me a lot with those things that I do, things that happen between us. I quite often do quote, making changes to reality to get the laugh, of course. We were sitting there and I was trying to figure out what to write about. And she said, well, why don't you write about what it was like growing up? You know, you're taking tubes from your TV set down to the variety store and testing them to find out what tube wasn't working. That's a real thing we used to do back in the 50s and 60s even. Doing a joke about that would be very difficult because first of all, most of you have no idea what that experience was like. If you're having to set things up by giving a detailed explanation of what you're talking about, you're in trouble because the audience probably isn't going to stay with you. This is not to say you can't get some great material from real life. I always carry a notebook with me and I always have a pen with me. Yes, I know you can do it all on your phone, so that's a valid way to do it as well. The important thing is you have to have some way of recording something that happens, a line, an incident, something that might become a joke in your act, something funny. You want to capture it right in the moment. But as I say, when you decide to present it to your audience, you make sure that it is stripped right down to its essentials. Tell us nothing more than what we need to get the laugh. Well, that's it for me. 5 Minutes Funnier with me, Jimmy England. As always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel here so you don't miss an episode. I've got a lot of things coming that I'm sure are going to prove instructive to you. And by all means, hit the like button. It's not a big deal, but apparently it means something electronically. And if I knew exactly what that was, I would let you know. I don't have a clue. All I know is hit the damn button. I'm Jimmy England. Stay safe, everybody.